Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rebecca Escott and I am the owner and creator of Everything Tumbler Tutorials. Today I'm super excited to show you a floral print from AB Designs, which I'm going to put at the top and the bottom. I'm going to leave a 1-inch space towards the top of this tumbler to where I can place Elegant, which is an Escott exclusive from AB Designs. So we're going to start off by placing the bottom half of the vinyl first, and I'm going to use the bottom rim as my guide. I want it up just enough to where it doesn't wrinkle and or bubble down at the bottom rim, but I want to have it just low enough to where I don't have to trim it. So once I go ahead and meet up with the back side, I'm just going to go ahead and take my scissors and do a quick trim of the excess vinyl. After I apply the top half of the vinyl, then I'll go ahead and cut my seam so everything is nice and straight. So as I'm going to place the vinyl here at the rim, and I don't plan on cutting this down with an X-Acto knife, I will stay very carefully just a teeny tiny hair off that rim, so that I don't have to worry about sanding this down later, and I don't have to use the X-Acto knife to trim this rim to give me an exposed stainless steel rim. So when I go to apply the epoxy, it will have something to grab onto, and I don't have to worry about the sanding and cutting down here at the rim. So now that we have our top vinyl piece laid down, I'm going to go ahead and use my measuring tape as always, and it's a helping hand to give me a nice straight line right up the back. So now once we have our seam nice and trimmed up, we're going to go ahead and tape everything off. Now originally I was going to spray paint this, but it was way too windy, so I decided against it and I went ahead with the acrylic paint. So when we come back into the next clip, you're going to see that this is completely taped off. It has the parchment paper that I would always normally use when I'm going to spray paint. Even though I decided to go with the acrylic, I just left the parchment paper on there just in case. I decided just to run with it. It wasn't going to hurt anything anyways. So typically when you're going to do acrylic paint, it's not necessary to tape off and protect all of your vinyl. You may have also noticed as well that when I am taping off my vinyl here at each ends of where my vinyl ends, you can see that there's an excess of vinyl. I go from the lowest point of the vinyl, if that makes sense, and then I will go ahead and trim off the excess vinyl that's remaining under or outside of the tape, if that makes sense. So for my acrylic, I am using Craft Smart, which is the color Rose, which is an acrylic paint. This is the third coat that I went ahead and decided to do on the tumbler just to make sure that I had a solid paint coverage before glittering. I didn't bother really to show the first and the second. It just didn't seem relevant. Whereas this time I'm actually going to go ahead and put another coat of the acrylic paint on, and I'm going to glitter right away. Once I apply the glitter on this particular coat, then I'm going to go ahead and remove all of the parchment paper as well as the tape. I really hope you are enjoying this video, and if so, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials coming soon. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications for every time I launch a new video. Once you remove your tape, you're going to want to make sure that you seal in this glitter really well. If you seal this really well, you will not have to worry about the glitter contaminating other glitters and or your vinyl. Once dry, we can go right into a coat of epoxy. For this first coat of epoxy, I am going to be using Fast Set from Counterculture DIY. Once your tumbler is fully cured, you can now go in with your vinyl strips, or in this case, nail tape. I'm using the Pretty Gold nail tape from AB Designs, and this is the 3mm size. So for my cross here at the bottom, I actually found this in Cricut Design Space, and I cut it using the same vinyl in which I've used on the tumbler. So the word faith I actually found on Etsy, and I will make sure that I have that link down for you in the description below. And I'm going to place this right here in the glitter section where I have just enough space. I get a lot of questions on my tumbler holder. This is an AB Designs angled tumbler holder, and I will make sure that I have the link down for you in the description to where you can find this. So I personally loved the faith so much that I actually wanted to kind of have it wrapping around the tumbler. So I placed one on the front as well as on the back side. You do not have to do this if you are not a fan of seams, but sometimes you can't avoid them. So I figured let's draw more attention to the word faith in the glitter section than the seam down the back. But of course, you can always skip this step if you'd prefer to not have this wrapping around the cup. Once we have all of our decals in place, we are ready for another coat of epoxy. So for this second coat of epoxy, I am going to go ahead and use the Fast Set from Counterculture DIY. This tumbler only took one more final coat of epoxy, which I used the Artist Resin for its final coat. I want to thank you so much for watching, and be sure to find me on TikTok under Rebecca Escott, Facebook at Everything Tumbler Tutorials for continued learning. Remember, all links will be in the description for you below. As always, make sure you use your heat torch to pop any bubbles you may or may not be able to see.